We are live. We're live. Season 3. Live.
Wow.
Coffee with Closers. Welcome back. So I'm sitting here with Nicole Renae, nationally renowned barber,
Yes.
and arguably the most sought after barber in this city. Is that safe to say?
Yes. What do you think? How do you feel about that?
I think so. I was checking your stuff out, and it looks like stuff of legends. Whatever, it's art. You do art.
Yes, that's what I like to say, art.
Some crazy stuff. So, how'd you get here?
It's a funny story. So, I started when I was in the 5th grade. My brother would come home with a furry forehead. You know, the salons never really did any edge ups on guys. And I would get my Gillette razor that I would shave my legs with, and I'd start trying to edge them up. Never told my mom anything because it's kind of gross, you know. And that's how it started. So then one time, whenever my dad couldn't take him into the salon, he would just shave him with a 1. And one time he told my mom, "Can you do it for me?" My mom didn't put the right clip on, so my brother was bald. So I was like, well, if you messed them up, let me try. That's how it started. So I started YouTubing, and I would mess him up, let me tell you. Bowl cuts, everything. Crooked edge ups, like the 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade.
Been chopping ever since.
Yep. So what's crazy is I actually wasn't going to do it for a living, but I was going to go to college, and then I didn't qualify for the FAFSAs, the grants. So my mom's like, well, why don't you go to barber school and then pay your way through college? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I went to barber school, and after that it was a wrap.
Holy shit.
So then here I am today.
So, you know, I'm not going to say I wanted to be a barber when I grew up or growing up, but I also tried what you tried, except, you know, I still sometimes cut my brother's hair.
Yeah.
And I still really suck at it, and I've probably given him like 50 to 60 haircuts in my lifetime. So you can say it's not for me, because you could clearly see there are no blurred lines in his fade. I mean, you
just
can clearly
solid
see,
lines everywhere.
like very
dark,
zigzaggy lines.
Yeah.
You know, like they just go, and then his box up it's definitely not a box. You know, I wouldn't call it a box. But it's okay. He wears hats all day, so
yeah.
you know
It's where you got to start, though.
Yeah, you know, and that's when I realized it wasn't for me. But I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah,
because
it ended up working out. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is consistency, you know, because I would mess them up and I'd feel discouraged. I'm like, whatever, I'm done with this.
It would bother you.
A month later, I'm like, nah, like, I'm going to learn how to do this, you know? And I kept giving up and trying again, giving up. So I always say, like, if I was consistent, I could have been cutting my friend's hair in, like, freshman year.
Right.
And making money, you know? But I wasn't consistent.
Would you say that, like, would you call him into your room to, like, be like just...
No, I'd be like, hey, come to the bathroom real quick. And then I'd be trying to edge him up.
That's badass.
Yeah.
That's
Without
crazy.
my mom seeing, though, because she probably would have been like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
Probably almost cutting his forehead, you know? But that's how it started.
That's badass. And now...
Thankful for my brother.
And now look at you.
Yeah. So now he forever will be getting taken care of, because he's the reason why I am today, you know?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So you're well known in the community as this just fucking badass barber. I go to your Instagram and I see you do some crazy shit with people's hair. You do dyes, you do art. Like, you do that stuff, like you do the designs with people, like you did a WAP one the other day, right?
Yeah, so it's actually with one of my coworkers on the clipper company I work for.
Okay.
That's what he specializes in, portraits and stuff like that. So we collabed together and we made the WAP.
How long did that take?
Honestly, we probably started at 3, and I think we were leaving to go have dinner by 9.
Damn.
Yeah. Collabs take a long time.
That was a 6-hour haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
Because he had to dye his, my friend Nayana had to dye his hair, and that's just a process itself. So me cutting his hair was probably the easiest part of the entire collab.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's the coolest part of your job? I see you traveling. I see you going. I mean, how does that even work? We're going to get to that in a little bit, but like, what's the coolest part of your job?
Being able to be you. I think that's the best part. I have a lot of friends that have to hide who they are with the jobs that they work, you know, because of corporate or whatever the case may be. So my favorite part of this is being who you are and if anything, I feel like that's what creates your image in this industry of being who you are, you know. People want to learn from you, or they just want to be around you because you're being 100% with yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You're working out of a shop right now, right?
Yes.
Where are you working out of?
The Barber Lounge.
The Barber Lounge.
Yes. Speedway and Silverbell.
Okay. That's with Phil?
Yep.
Right on. Good group of men, huh?
Yeah.
Good barbershop.
Yeah, I've been working with Phil since I got my barber's license. Last 5 years. Every time we move together.
I think I saw you once, or maybe multiple times. Were you guys next to? Were you guys over there on Cardinal Valencia?
Yeah, we work with Ivan.
Oh,
yeah.
So all
that's
three
how
of you guys work
that's
together.
how I remember you. Yeah,
No
when you had
shit.
DM me, I'm like, he looks familiar, and then you obviously got your haircut with Ivan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's the only DM you've gotten from me. Sometimes I get drunk. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do any of that. I'll never see
It happens to the
DMs.
best of us.
Well, that's crazy. So since then, like, how long were you cutting hair at that time? 'Cause that was like 6 years ago. No, that was like 7 years ago.
It turns 5 years with my license in October. So that was only 4 years ago when we all worked at Brothers together.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you weren't cutting hair for that long at that time.
No.
So a lot of shit has happened in the last 4 years.
The last 5, just like the first year, the moment I got my license, everything just started rolling fast.
How many trophies you got? I see you flexing with them. I'm like, damn, I wish I had a trophy. I have like a thank you for showing up trophy from baseball. That's about it.
I probably have, I want to say 13.
Holy crap.
Yeah. But I just competed for a year and a half. And then I've done one battle since then just to kind of see if I could still do it, you know? And I ended up getting second place. So that was cool.
Hell yeah.
But it was just like a year and a half straight. Me and Phil were going to every barber battle there was. And I was competing. So,
What's it like having to compete against the guy you work next to? I mean, you're better, right?
Sorry, Phil. I'm just kidding. No, the thing with Phil is he's always, I think I've worked with him for this long, and I will continue to work with him and be my business partner because we always push each other. You know, we're 2 different barbers. We have 2 different styles. So I feel like that was never a problem, like who's better, who's not. But it was just more keeping each other on our toes, you know? Like he would learn something new, and I'm like, well, if he knows how to do that, I need to learn how to do that, and then vice versa, you know? So that's our relationship.
That's awesome. And you cut celebrities' hair, or you have?
I've done 2.
Okay.
It's
What's
a fun.
that like?
The first one was a funny story. It was
We gotta hear it.
Roy
Like,
Jones Jr.
beginning to end.
You know,
Really?
I swear, but I didn't know who he was when I was cutting his.
Oh, that's fucked up. Was he in Tucson or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was at Brothers, and he had a fight or something at the casino, so he had went to. Somebody told him, "Oh, go to Brothers Barbershop," and so he showed up, and my client happened to cancel. So to me, I was like, I didn't have lunch that day. I was like, I'm gonna eat lunch. Hell yeah, you know. And Phil's like, no, you need to get this guy that just walked in. And I was like, dude, I haven't even had lunch. And he was like, no, you need to cut his hair. And I'm like, why? You know, there's like so many other, we have walk-in barbers, you know?
Right.
He's like, just cut his hair, Nicole. And I'm like, all right. I just took his advice and I did it. And I was like, who is it? They're like, dude, he's a freaking boxer. I was like, I don't know. So he sat in my chair and I tried to act like I knew who he was. And then he was just like, this big old guy, just you can tell he was somebody. And let me tell you, I've never seen so many men fall over for another man before. All the barbers were running up to him, can I take a picture mid haircut? The clients are like, oh my god, trying to shake his hand while I'm cutting his hair. And I'm like, dang, this is really somebody. And then so I gave him a haircut, and I was just asking him questions, and he was out here, I think, hosting a fight or something along those lines. And yeah. So that night, we all took a picture with him, and then we went to Sam's to celebrate that he came to our barbershop. And I was like, dang. But I felt like I didn't really feel the experience because I didn't even know who he was, you know?
Right.
I didn't get that full feeling.
Right.
But it's funny.
That's dope,
Yeah.
though. That's dope.
Phil likes to clown on me about that. He's just like, you remember when you didn't even know who he was? I'm like...
Like this same guy, by the way, you know Mike Tyson is, right?
Yeah.
He's fighting Mike Tyson in 2 months.
Yeah, Phil sent it to me.
I mean, they shouldn't be fighting, but
it'll be interesting.
Like we fight two old men. It's like it'd be like Rocky, but like the remake Rocky when he's all old and wrinkly and
it'll be interesting.
Like old.
I'll be like, hey, well, I cut that guy's hair, so that would be cool.
There you go. Hell yeah.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, and if he gets knocked out, you can be like, see, you should have gotten paid up by me. Yeah. Hell exactly. Yeah. So when do you feel like this shit just clicked for you? Like when you were in school,
Yeah, barber school.
Okay.
As soon as I started barber school, everything just, that's what I'm saying. The whole purpose of me going into barber school was to get my way through college, you know? So when I went into barber school, I just saw all these doors opening. And I didn't know there was more behind just cutting behind the chair. I didn't know there was education. I didn't know you can travel. I didn't know you can be an influencer. I didn't know, you know, there was just so much more that I didn't know about. So when I went into barber school, I started discovering it. And
where do you feel like, where do you see this going
right now?
Yeah, like what are your ambitions for?
I want to become a celebrity barber.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, speak that into existence now.
Like, absolutely, this is the room to do it right here.
Yep.
Hopefully somebody's listening that can get you a higher chair, right?
Yep.
That's so cool. So do you feel like you're going to be based out of Tucson your whole life, or
No.
do you see yourself going out where?
Yeah, I don't see myself in Tucson that much longer. I'm not going to say an exact date that I think I will leave, but I feel like Tucson, you can only do so much, and I do want to go to Phoenix and create something different out there.
Sure. So at this point of your barber career, do you feel like you can be a little more picky and choosy with clients? Do you feel like
yes, definitely. Yeah.
So talk to me about how that works, because I know that you know, in everything, no matter what you do for a living, there's a ranking system, right? So I'm assuming fresh out of, if you don't know that many people, if you're fresh out of barber school, you're gonna do walk-ins, right? You're
Yes.
gonna try to build your clientele from there,
Yes.
and you're gonna try to show out and try to get people to come back, right? Get that retention. Like, how does that work?
I think the
how
biggest...
did you get there? Because I'm sure you're not
Yeah.
fucking $12 a cut.
No. So I think what helped me is, thanks to my mom, I have organization skill. You know, she always had everything organized for us. And on top of that, I have OCD. So I always needed everything in a certain way. So when I was cutting outside my mom's house, I would have 5 friends come together, but I would make them come all at a different time because I needed that organization. Versus, like, I had a friend that was cutting hair too, and he would just be like, oh, all the homies show up at the same time and just wait your time, wait your spot, you know? And I couldn't do that because it would give me anxiety, just 5 friends sitting there waiting for their haircut. So I'd be like, you come at 2, you come at 3, you come at 4, you come at 5. So that was just me just trying to be organized. So once I got into the barbershop, I still had that mentality, and I was able to build clientele faster because I had the organization. You know, people couldn't just, even when I wasn't booked, a client would walk in, hey, can I get in with you? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm booked for the day, you know, but I can get you tomorrow morning. Even though I wasn't, but it put them in that rhythm of respecting my time and booking an appointment, you know?
So you're just a fucking entrepreneur, and you're thinking of and that's important, because what you're doing and what you did early on was you thought about the overall user experience.
Yes.
Right. So you're like, okay, if I want to get clients, if I want to be this barber, if I want to get to a point in my life where I'm successful as hell.
Yeah.
And
it's what's crazy is it ended up benefiting me so much now, you know, and I didn't expect that much of an outcome, and I'm so glad that my mom raised me to be organized, you know, so it ended up working in my favor for sure.
Hell yeah. So at this point in your career, you're worth a hell of a lot more than walk-in fees.
Yeah.
What's a typical haircut from your hands cost right now?
Well, starting the 23rd of September, I'll be starting at 50.
Okay.
And my highest service is 70.
And what's that?
The platinum package. So that comes with a black mask, steamer, hot towel, haircut, beard, shampoo.
That's too cheap.
Yeah, it is. And I'm charging 60 now. But my strategy was charge 60, get people to do it. And then when I go up, they're like, no, that's totally worth it. The hardest part is to see somebody on my app be like, oh my God, $80 service. I'm just going to go for the 50. You know what I mean? So I wanted to put it at a lower rate, so that way they felt more comfortable in doing it. Oh, $60 for all this. Yeah. So then when I raise my prices, they're like, no, it's totally worth it, you know?
No, it is. Well, you got to give them a taste.
Yeah, and I'm not one to just throw it out there right away, you know? I'm willing to sacrifice so that way I can get rewarded later.
You know, when Phil was my barber, that's when you guys left that barber shop next to the gym, and you guys moved. Well, first you guys moved in like down the street, down Valencia, in like a trailer, and then from there, I think you guys went to it's like right there on Cardinal, I think, Cardinal and Mission.
Cardinal and Drexel.
There you go.
Gentleman's Parlor. Is it next to Tanya's?
Yeah, like an older plaza. And he did one of those on me, and I felt so weird. I was like 17 years old, right? I was 17, 18, and you know, and that's the works. And I know that that's a classic. That's a gentleman's parlor service, right? You get the works.
Yep.
And he did it on me, and I felt so weirded out because he didn't tell me he was gonna do anything to me, and he'd like start shaving me like with like really, it was very
the lather.
Yeah. And then like he puts a hot towel on, like he wraps my face in a hot towel, and I was like, I don't know, like what's, you know, I was scared. I was like, what's going on? And I download, and then he put some like minty stuff on my face so that like, you know, after the shave, it just felt exfoliating. I didn't want to sound, you know, like I didn't enjoy it. So I kind of like made it known that I was a little uninterested, but I down low really liked it.
Yeah.
Like, no homo. Phil, like you have very soft hands. You're probably listening to this right now. Your hands are very soft. So I'm excited to see you progress and see. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought your haircuts were more. If I look at your portfolio, and maybe because I'm a little more empathetic to what you guys do, right? I mean, you got to be understanding of what you guys do. I mean, you guys don't just cut hair. You guys make art with your hands. For God's sake, like you guys make men feel like men, because like you know, a girl feels when she doesn't do her nails, she needs fillers. Men feel way worse, and I know women don't even fucking notice. Men and women, like they don't even notice haircuts. But guys do, right?
Yes.
And they're super insecure. Like right now, I'm pretty insecure right now because it's been like 5 days since I cut my hair.
Yeah, it's like your makeup.
Yeah, you know. So what you guys do is you guys beautify men. Let's face it. Since we don't wear makeup, I mean, you guys are the reason why men feel confident nowadays.
Yes.
Why the fuck shouldn't you pay more for that service?
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Because women drop hundreds and hundreds of dollars on you know, foundations and makeups and all this stuff, right? I mean, men stop being cheap, dude. Like.
Yep. And then you have to remember too where you're at. You know, Tucson. It's not Phoenix. It's not Scottsdale. You know, it's different. You have to remember where you're at. But what's crazy is before quarantine, starting haircuts at 35. So from the time before quarantine to now, I was just like, I have to know my worth. Like I just need to stick to my guns. You know.
Yeah. How'd you do during quarantine? Did you do house calls and stuff? Or?
Nope. I was probably the only barber, I'm going to say that out loud, that I knew in the city that wasn't cutting hair during quarantine.
No shit.
Nothing.
Took that time off?
I personally, my perspective of it was I was unemployed because of people that weren't staying home, right? So I was like, well, if I stay home and I take that sacrifice, I can go back to work sooner. And at that time, it was like, you're going back this date. You're going back this date. And it just kept getting prolonged because it was getting worse because people are still out partying, doing whatever they're doing. So I was like, well, I'm just going to stay fully quarantined and hopefully I can go back to work sooner, you know? Right. So I felt like if I was cutting hair, I'd kind of go against what I believed in and being safe, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's just crazy, man. And I know that I think Ivan was in a news piece. I think they were using him as B-roll for like, because the whole barber community was just like, you know, when are we gonna open? When are we gonna open? And it sucks that other businesses got to stay open, and it's one of those. There's probably so many men that like felt so self-conscious.
Yeah, I had a lot of clientele that waited for me, so that was cool to see, you know, because there was some that shaved their head. There was some that had their cousin cut them in the backyard. And I can say probably like 70% waited for me. So that was cool to see them do that, you know, because I was waiting for them. So for them doing that back to me was like, I don't know, it felt like respect, you know?
Yeah. Man, so crazy. Well, I'm glad you made it out.
Yes,
and
I made it out.
I'm excited for this shit to be over. I'm like, it's just, we need to put this shit behind us, and we just need to get back to work, get this economy back going. I'm scared to see what happens. I know you mentioned you were unemployed, and it's funny because I was thinking about that, and I'm like, shit, I'm unemployed. I should start collecting checks. Technically, I'm unemployed. You gave me an idea.
You are.
And it's I'm just working the system, right?
Yeah, I heard that they prolonged it too.
What is it? 400? 400?
I think they split
400 a week? That's not
400
bad.
more that you didn't have.
Yeah, I don't have a job right now. Holy shit. Yeah, absolutely. Heck yeah. What kind of advice do you think you'd give to somebody who's an aspiring barber? I know this is a very, like, I feel like barbering nowadays has become a mainstream thing. Like, has there been reality shows about barbering? I know there's tattoo reality shows. If there's not, then there will be.
No, I think there was one that I saw, and it was like a barber battle type thing, but that didn't really go that far. It didn't really. So no, I would say no.
Do you feel like there's enough drama in your barbershop to bring a camera crew out? You think so?
Yeah.
What kind of drama?
It's not necessarily drama, but it's just everyday life.
It's excitement.
It's more like everybody sees different, you know, and it's like the one thing that we are trying to provide at our barbershop is you come and work with us, so that way we can give you the easy tools to get where you want to be. So like, for instance, me and Phil didn't have that. We had to go through the rough parts, you know, we had to learn the hard way, basically. So at our barbershop, you can come and work with us and we'll give you the tools to get there faster. So it's interesting to see because, you know, we've worked with barbers where they were the same barber as we were 4 years ago, you know, and we're trying to be like, well, if you do this differently, you can get here faster. And it's just like, you just learn so many different personalities along the way. So it's definitely interesting. But
you feel like you had a mentor growing up, or you feel like you need one, or?
I feel like having Phil by my side and we were learning together was what I needed. And then just with myself, like I always just wanted to do it. I was always motivated to get it done. So just having that mentality, I didn't really need a mentor. You know what I mean?
And so you mentioned that you guys are partners.
Yes.
So both of you guys are the owners of?
He is. Okay. So we have another owner. He's kind of like our investor.
Okay.
And then Phil bought in with him. So he is also owner. And then I personally am not somebody that wants to own their own barbershop or be a quote-unquote manager. I'll be a leader. That's what I am now. I have one side that I run and he runs the other side. So I'll be a leader when I need to be, but I don't want to own a barbershop. I don't want to be like, hey, you want to come work at this barbershop? I'll give you no rent and you can be the manager. But no.
Right.
You know, it's not what I want in my life. You know what I mean? I don't want to
do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to be the all-star player. You're not trying to be the coach yet.
Exactly.
You know
exactly.
What I mean?
I don't want nothing to do with that.
There's still a lot of game to be played. How long do you think you see yourself doing this for?
What do you mean? And what part? Working here?
No, just
in general, cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
Forever, for sure.
No shit.
Yeah, I love it. I love cutting hair.
You hate down in a wheelchair?
Yeah, even if I got to, but I definitely trying to set myself up now so that way I don't have to work how I am now. My goal is definitely after 30. I'm not working like how I am right now, for sure. But I think I'll forever cut hair because I love it.
Oh yeah,
it's fun to me.
Is that you feel like that's your passion?
Yeah, definitely.
No shit.
Definitely. Like
that's
if
awesome.
during quarantine, I felt like I was itching for it. You know, I was like, I need to cut hair, so I would go to my mom's and cut my brother's hair. So I feel like that's literally. I was like, this is the most haircuts you've got in the last, who knows how many years, because I just cut his hair when I can, you know.
It's so great to listen to somebody talk about their passion, and you know, somebody, because there's so many people, regardless of age nowadays, or really fucking, I guess, always, that they just don't know yet, and that's fine. But it's great to meet somebody that has, because you can see it in their work, you can hear it in their tone, and that's gonna take you a long fucking ways, because that's all you really need.
Yeah.
Right.
And being consistent too.
Absolutely. You're a fucking hustler. Yeah. Like, holy crap. That's amazing. Another thing I like about you, you know, just looking at you in comparison to some of the other barbers, you said it yourself, right? You're just being yourself. And the cool thing about that is when you're being yourself, you are a character that nobody else knows how to play.
Yes.
So you create this persona, this character, but you're not making or artificially making anything. You're not being fake about it. being authentic.
Yes.
Like you're weird, I'm weird, we're all weird, right?
In our own way.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Like you have fucking awesome lime green hair.
Exactly.
But that's you being your weird, unapologetic self.
Yep.
And what that does is it creates a character that people can remember, right? It doesn't matter if they remember you as, oh, the girl with the green hair or the girl with a tattoo on her face. The fact that they remembered you is the important part.
Exactly.
You got that down, and that's one thing that I try teaching people is it's very important. If you feel like you are a cardboard-like character, if you feel like you wouldn't be a good character in a movie, then you need to change that. Because if you can't be a memorable person and people won't remember your name, then
what's your purpose?
Exactly. You know, and so when you meet somebody that has, and I bring Conor McGregor into this a lot. Do you know who he is?
Yes, that one I do.
I didn't want to make any assumptions.
Yes.
But he's a prime example of what I'm talking about, because this guy that everybody sees, this tatted guy with these outlandish tattoos and this outrageous personality, right? This isn't the guy that first signed on with the UFC. Like, the guy that first signed on with the UFC was a bald, tattoo-less. I think he had that little spine tattoo that, you know,
yes,
not a very cute tattoo.
Yes.
That's the only tattoo he had, and he was bald everywhere else, and he was just a whatever kind of guy, you know. And once he started winning some fights and he loved it, he's like, you know what? I gotta start being my unapologetically weird self, right? I gotta stop being this like super humble guy that's broke, because I don't want to be broke anymore. And how I'm not going to be broke is I'm going to create a character, whether it's authentic or not. It's going to be authentic because I'm passionate about this, and people are going to remember me. And look at that motherfucker.
Yep.
Like, holy shit.
Yep. I do feel like over the years, my true self started to come out. That was a good example using him. But when I first started, I obviously didn't have a lot of tattoos. I probably barely colored my hair a year ago, even though I've always wanted to do it. But the main thing is I was trying to find the right person to do it too. And then just learning yourself along each year, you know?
Yeah.
So I can definitely agree with that.
So you're all tatted up.
Yes.
That's awesome. What you got?
Everything. You name it.
I know you got a lot of barber stuff.
Yeah.
You can't be honestly, like, if you're a barber and you don't have
a barber tattoo.
like scissors.
Are you really a barber?
You know what I mean? Like, is it real? Like,
yep.
Like if I'm walking into a barber shop, like anybody listening right now, if you're not loyal to a single barber, and you walk into a barber shop because you're looking for that next barber, if it's not going to be Nicole, and if they don't have tattoos, skip, bro.
Yep.
Skip.
Yep.
Ask for the guy that has the...
they must really not love it, you
right?
know?
Exactly. Ask for the guy that's got the barber pole on his knuckles, his
and
leg.
It's everywhere. Behind the ear. I've seen the barber pole everywhere. On their face.
I love seeing that, you know? I really love seeing that. I know the barber community is a real tight-knit community.
Yeah.
You guys know each other, and it must be what's it like competing against these guys? Because you've won fucking a lot of awards.
Yeah, and honestly, so this is kind of a touchy subject, but I like to be completely honest about it. So whenever you go to a barber battle, there's probably 7 different categories, and one of them is always a female category, a female barber battle category.
That's a category?
Yes, female barber category.
How do you feel about that?
I've never competed in it because I don't think that's right. Why are you people already say, you know, females are coming into a male territory. So why are you letting them, what's the word? Why are you letting them be true about it? You know, why are you proving their point, basically? So you're going to degrade yourself and put yourself in that situation, you know? Yeah. That's just personally my opinion. I'm pretty sure I'm going to piss some people off saying that, but it's true. You know what I mean?
I don't think that should be a category. Yeah,
there's not just the men category.
And, you know, I'm about to piss some people off right now.
Let's do it.
I'm going to lose a lot of guys. Well, probably. But I think it's time to just let women take over. This has nothing to do with me being gender heavy on any side as far as beliefs. But I'm talking about like this fucking country. Let's just give it to women, please. Let's see what they can do with it, because the men have been fucking it up since 1865. You know, like, no disrespect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I'm going to lose a lot of you guys. And if you guys are Republicans and whatever the hell you fucking believe in and you're machismo, then I'm sorry. But I think that's the truth. I think women need the keys to this fucking country because other countries have done that and those countries are thriving.
Yep.
Sweden is one of them. There's a bunch of European countries, Iceland.
Yep.
Yeah, it's time for women to take over, and it's also time to stop doing gender specific things like that. That kind of pisses me off.
Literally.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I first started cutting hair,
you would kill it, by the way. Like, you'd be fucking.
Yeah.
You'd be. And what's crazy is that you don't want to do it. And what's also crazy is that you would win every fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
And yes, I've had times that I've lost a couple, and that was just me being unprepared. You know, I would bring a model. I wouldn't bring a model, so I would have to find one in the crowd, and it would just be a shit model. You know, as sad as that sounds. So putting him in the chair, I'm like, yeah, he doesn't even have that good of hair. But I didn't have anybody else, so I would just suck it up. You know.
Right.
But
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. You
have to go prepared. Like,
yeah.
So the times that I've won, I have a client or a barber. A lot of my barber friends would go and let me use them. And I would map out what I would do. Like, you have to go prepared, you know, in order to win. And there was times where I wouldn't. And I've gotten lucky and I've won. And then there was times where I wouldn't even place because I went unprepared.
That's crazy. I didn't think of that. I just thought of it right now. You probably got a guy with like really light, like thin hair. And those are like the worst to showcase a fade on. So that's
I had one that was in El Paso, and it was at a strip club. So you can already imagine how dark that place is. And I have poles next to me as I'm competing. So I had went and found a model, and from what I could see, he had a good hairline. It was best fade category. So he sits in my chair, and I start combing his hair, and his entire hairline I don't even know. Like, he had pasted it down with hairspray or something. So when I started combing it, it just went back. And at that moment, I already knew I wasn't gonna win.
That was
Anuel. Yeah. That was yeah. And at that point, it was my fault. You know, I didn't have a model. I didn't bring one with me, and I just kind of was like, oh well, I'll find somebody. There's always people at the barber battles without a haircut, and you know.
Damn.
So I've definitely had to learn the hard way, but.
What's awesome is you're also taking the hard route.
Yes.
By you saying no to these gender-specific competitions, that's like you saying, no, you guys can have that trophy.
Yeah. So it's just like, and the purpose for them doing that, I think, is to give the women that are uncomfortable cutting hair and with men. I don't know. There's a lot of women that are like, it's such a hard industry to be in because of men. I'm like, it's really not, though. Right. Like, you can go anywhere where there's a lot of men. Can go work at a grocery store and the managers are men, you know. So
yeah,
when I don't see that. I really don't see it. I really don't. Working in a barbershop full of men, if anything, I feel like we have power. We're the woman in the barbershop, you know. I never felt degraded. I never felt like, oh my god, I'm the only girl. Like, if anything, I felt like I had more power because I was the only girl in the barbershop, you know, with a room full of men.
Yeah, that's badass. There's a V's barbershop over here, and there's a girl that works there, and I hope she's not listening, but I didn't even find her cute. But she had a line, so like her line, like she was booked for over a month, and booming. Yeah. But she had a line because he does like going to this barbershop and getting facials.
Yes.
So they'll buy $100 facials from this girl and she'll just do the facials, and they'll just do a whatever haircut and nothing too impressive, nothing like competition worthy. But I would laugh and I'm like, damn, dude, like it's crazy how a lot of these cochinos, they just want a female to touch their face and they'll pay for it. Anyway, I don't know why I brought that up.
It's true though. It's true.
What's crazy is that you are killing the fucking game. And you're paying no attention to genders. You're like, I like you because you want the NBA Finals trophy, not the WNBA Finals. Yeah. You're like, fuck your trophy. I want this one right here.
Yeah.
That's so badass. Did you grow up here in Tucson?
Yes, born and raised.
Mm-hmm. It's so hard to find Tucson natives, and I don't know why. Maybe that's why like our fucking traffic sucks now, and our freeways are expanding. And
yep.
That's so crazy. So you see yourself moving to Phoenix?
Yes.
What do you feel about? How do you feel about LA?
I honestly, like, for the longest time, I didn't even want to move out of Tucson. Probably a year and a half ago, if you ask me what I'm gonna do, I'll be like, I'm staying in Tucson. But it's more family. My family's here, you know.
Hispanic?
And it's very no. So my mom was born in Taiwan, actually. Yeah. So
Really?
her mom is Taiwanese, and then my grandfather's from Mississippi. So he was stationed in Taiwan.
Okay.
You know, got her pregnant, and they moved back to the States,
Wow.
got married, whatever. Yeah. And then my dad is your typical Mexican American, you know.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I have never
Speak
met.
nothing but English, but they're Mexican, you know.
Yeah. No pala enfrente kind of okay.
You know. Mexican American.
Right. That's so.
I don't know Spanish, so that should just tell you. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I thought I knew Spanish until, I met
Yeah.
somebody that
Yeah.
schooled me
Yeah.
on it and continues to, and now she's my grammar teacher when it comes to this stuff. She may or may not be in this room right now, but now I'm very self-conscious about my Spanish, so
Yeah.
I talk as much English as possible.
Yep.
So, like, don't take this weirdly, but does that make you, is Taiwanese the right? So you're Mexican, Taiwanese Mexican. I have never met that combo.
And
That's
white.
Oh, and white. Okay.
Mississippi. Biloxi, Mississippi is where my family lives.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go there often?
I don't, but when I educate, I've gone to New Orleans, so
Mhm.
they'll drive down and come see me. But I think the last time I went to Mississippi, I was like 3 years, so my mom had took me, but I don't remember.
Fast
I
forward
do.
10 years. In 10 years, where do you see yourself with all this?
I feel like I could potentially still be in Arizona, but I don't want to be behind the chair. I'm going to be traveling. Nicole's on that set for that movie doing so-and-so's hair, or Nicole's doing this and that. It's not necessarily my main income is coming from clients coming sitting in my chair, you know.
How
So-
do you feel you're going to get there?
I feel like what I'm doing now, the consistency of social media, and then me traveling with the company that I work for helps a lot, because you network with so many people, and that's all it takes is the right person, right time, you know. But definitely social media. Social media is gonna help a lot.
It's crazy how much people underestimate the power of social media.
Yes, they really do, and it's free.
Yeah.
It's freaking free.
And you mentioned that you've gotten here probably in huge thanks to social media.
Yes, everything. Probably the key to everything that I've overcome or that I've accomplished is social media.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Do you make your own content, or does somebody else do it for you?
Yep, I do it by myself.
What do you like? How,
I have a tripod, and I put it in between my legs, all awkward, and I cut hair so I can get that angle. So all
Really?
those angles that you see, I'm standing real funny at the barbershop.
Are you
to
really?
Get those angles, yep.
that's so cool. When
Yep.
did you start doing your own content?
I bought a camera when the first 2 months of being a barber, because Phil had one, and then one of our other coworkers had one. So I don't like to be that person like, hey, can I use yours? Can I use yours? Can I use yours? You know.
Right.
So I went and bought one, and so I've always took my own content, and then I do collabs and videos, and I'll pay somebody to record that. But for the most part, everything's me.
That's so dope. Would you encourage other barbers to do the same?
Yes, I feel like I do all the time. Yes.
Who do you? I know that in between cuts, every now and then, sometimes you might have some downtime and start surfing, through your feed and shit like that. What does your Instagram feed look like?
Haircuts.
Just haircuts?
Food.
Of course, you gotta have the food. Hell
Haircuts,
yeah.
food, and shoes. I feel like shoes are definitely on there, but haircut, food, and shoes. But mostly just haircuts.
Like pop culture.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's an influencer right now in the game that has helped you more than any other right now?
I always get asked that question, and I never know how to answer that, because I feel like each month I'm looking at somebody and I'm admiring what they do. I've never had just one. I feel like a lot of people will have one influencer and they don't look anywhere else because they just want to be just like that person.
Right.
And I feel like you can't be like somebody else if you want to create your own image. You have to be your own person. So I always look at someone new without even purposely doing it. And I want to implement what they did and what that other person did into whatever I'm doing, So I can't really say one specific person, no.
What do you feel like your biggest weakness is right now?
Biggest weakness is my time, like managing my time, because I feel like a lot, and this is the conversation I've been having with my clients too on me raising my prices next month, is because I am choosing to be behind the chair more than focusing on my other parts of my business. And So the main reason is going up in my prices, work smarter, not harder. And I can limit my time in the barbershop. I'm still making the same income. And then what happens when you go up in your prices? You kind of weave out the people that don't want to pay that, and you can have more time for the people that do want that quality service. So definitely my time. That's something that I'm struggling with right now. Which isn't, I'm focusing not on something wrong. You know, my clients are the reason why I am today where I am, but it's just I want to focus on the other parts of my business that will make me money when I sleep, or that will set me up later when I can't cut hair behind the chair.
Talking about like merchandise and stuff like that? Or?
We have a product company, Redemption, that we're coming out with. Okay. And then I want to start doing online education. So where you subscribe to my online education, and I push out 2-3 videos a month, and I'm basically giving you everything.
Nicole Renae University.
All my knowledge. So I haven't done that. I should have done that during quarantine because everybody was sitting at home, but I didn't. You know, like it's trial and errors. Like I'm that person that puts things off too because I'm overwhelmed with everything else. But it's like I can't do that because if I don't do it now, I'll never do it, and it's gonna end up backfiring later. You know, and it's something I really want to do. So I have to remember I just gotta sacrifice the time where I want to be behind the chair, where I gotta focus on what's right. You know.
Funny you say that because I have the same problem. So, you know, I own a roofing company and can't seem to stay off a fucking roof. Like, I need to stay the hell off of roofs, right? Yep. Because that's not, like, let me start by saying I'm not the best roofer we have by far. I'm probably, like, worse than worse. But, okay, I'm not. I'm just kidding.
But yeah,
don't take me too
But you
serious.
can't really, you can't tell anybody no. You're like, if they want you on the roof, you're on the roof.
Well, I volunteer myself, you know, because like when the chips are down, and I just feel like I got to get in there and battle with my guys, right? And that's my biggest problem because that takes a lot of time out of what what could be making me money and other aspects or the business money. So time management is something that I actually need to better myself in, like yourself. So, hey, if anybody's listening to this and you feel like you're great at time management, please let me know.
Please.
Hit me with a DM.
Yes.
Because I've gotten a lot of requests from people saying, hey, I need time management. So I couldn't even begin to give you advice on it because mine is horrible. I mean, I don't even know how to accept a Google Calendar invite because I don't do it clearly because my phone never lets me know I need to go somewhere. It's shitty. But I like where your head is at with all of this because you're looking at a big picture. I mean, most people that get into this are like, I want to own my own barbershop. And I would be it would be hypocritical of me to give somebody advice and say, hey, dude, you got to be a business owner because it's not fun when you first start.
This is what I tell the barbers all the time. The first thing you tell them, what's your goal? I want to own my own barbershop. I'm like, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. You know, like I've been helping manage. I've been around field managing, and I know what it is behind the scenes of a barbershop, you know, and I'm just like, you don't even know what you're going to get yourself into, you know.
It's no matter what kind of business you own, the first 5 years is going to be you babysitting.
That's all it is.
It's babysitting.
I feel like it is. It's that.
No matter what.
The entire time.
Yeah.
To be honest, and that's why I was never a fan. Even when I started barber school, I just saw what the other people around me were doing and how teachers had to babysit grown people that were in school that were paying them to get a certification, you know, and it's just like. It's all it is. It really is, you know. And I'm just like, I don't know. Focus on yourself, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. You know, you own your own shop, and it's great to own your own shop, right?
It is. I'm not going to knock it because I work at a barbershop where somebody owns it, you know. So I'm not going to knock owning a barbershop, but it's just like.
You don't need
get
that
the
in
experience.
your life.
Get the experience before you decide you want it, you know.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of people just work at a shop and they're not happy and they just go and put themselves in debt and get a barbershop, you know?
Right.
And they never had the experience or they never seen behind the scenes of it. And then later they end up closing it because they're like, it's not for me, you know?
Right.
I'd rather just open a little studio with me and a friend and cut hair.
Yeah.
So my advice is just like get the experience of it and know what really happens, because at the end of the day, like that's the easier way to learn, you know?
Yeah.
Versus putting yourself in debt and opening up a shop and then being
And
like,
that's easy to
damn, I
do.
wish I would have learned this before I actually did it, you know?
Yeah. Because getting yourself into debt to start your own business, that's very
It's the hardest.
easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's the hardest part is not, you know, is keeping it above water, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So no matter what, like whether you're going to open up your own barbershop or whatever business you want to start, like the advice that I give anybody is get ready to stay broke for 5 years, right? Like get ready to have and build something that might turn out to be very special.
It could be the greatest thing that could happen to you, you know?
But get ready to be broke for the first 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Or at least live like you're broke.
Yeah.
If you really want this thing to turn into something special. Because the only way you get it there is if you don't spend that money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other alternative, which is the route you're taking, which is great, is you are still playing the game. You're not trying to be a coach yet. Well, you will eventually when you're going to start teaching your stuff, but you're taking a different route and you're going to build enough capital to, I mean, you might even get to a point where you can open up 5 barbershops and not even have to cut hair.
Exactly.
Like,
and I could be a point in my career where it won't financially hurt me as much. You know what I mean? So I think opening up a barbershop, I know a guy in Chicago and he has a barbershop and it is the most beautiful barbershop. I don't know what his struggles were to open it, but it ended up being an amazing thing. You know, it's one of the barbershops that everybody knows about. So it's not that it's not a bad thing to do, you know, because if you open a barbershop, you're helping 5 to 10 barbers have somewhere to cut hair and feed their families, you know. So it's not a bad thing to have. But the biggest thing is just learning what you're getting yourself into.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that really kind of, I don't know, man, I kind of feel bad when I walk into a barbershop and the owner's still cutting hair.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I feel bad because, and now more than ever, because, like, as a business owner, I fucking hate being on roofs, right?
Yeah.
I hate, like, I would, it's not that I would hate it because you're obviously passionate about it, because you probably get really frustrated when you own one, or no matter what, because you like want to focus so much time and attention on other things and you got to still hustle for it.
Yep.
Because you got to pay that bill. Jeez. Question.
Yes.
You don't have to answer this.
Okay.
But what's considered a good tip?
In the barbering?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm not a cheap ass.
So I feel like $10 is cool. You know, that's like a thank you for sure. But I can say the clients that go $20 to $40 is when your barber's gonna do backflips to get you in. So, and that's just the honest truth. I have clients that tip me $40, and if they write me right now and say they gotta get in and they'll take care of me, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and go in real early for them.
Hell yeah.
And that's just the truth, you know. And I'm glad I was able to learn that in this industry, because now when I go to my lash lady, when I go to a nail appointment, whatever service I'm getting done my hair, I know if I'm not client to them, if I need them, they're going to be there. And that's just how the world works, you know.
Yeah, especially in the beauty industry.
But
I didn't know that.
$10, like, I think you have to remember you're in Tucson too. You know what I mean? Like $10, if you're paying $40 and you give them $50, like, thank you. Like, it's appreciation, you know. So then $10 and up, like, definitely. But you're gonna have those people throw you a $40 tip, and you're like, dang, from, you know, $30 to another $40. You know, like, dang, I just made $70. Like, it's different. People see it different, but that's just personally from my experience, and then the barbers I worked with, what they say.
And we could tell like it is, you know, and I'm most positive you'll gain some good clients from this. But
any tip is good, because we all have had people that don't tip. I
was about to ask you, do you got any clients that don't tip? You don't gotta call them out. We don't gotta know their name. I mean.
Let's say that it's not as many as I used to. I feel like what's kind of weird is the times that I've gone up in my prices, I get more tippers. It's kind of weird. Like, I would charge $25 and they would just give me $25. I would go up to 30. They'd give me 35, 40. So it's kind of weird. Each time I elevated my rates, I was getting more tips. So I don't know if it was more of a respecting, you know, like, well, you're charging this much, so it's different. I don't know, but I definitely have a little handful. I can count them on one hand that doesn't tip. But
dude, you guys gotta cut your shit if you're listening to this.
But you know,
don't be a bad tipper. I would never want to be serving your table at a restaurant, dude. If you're listening to this.
But, you know, those people I can tell you, they've been very loyal to me, and they've never complained every time I've gone up in my prices, and I've been cutting them for years. So, and they're good people to me, you know. I think it's just people were raised different. I have friends that tipping was never a thing that their parents taught them to do, you know. So it's just, then I have friends, myself, where my mom always told me, you need to tip. If you don't tip, it's not right, you know.
It's not, yeah.
So I don't really judge it because some people just didn't grow up with it, you know. But I feel like if it overruled my clientele and I had no tippers, then I'd be a little sad right now. But for the most part, 90% of my clientele take care of me. So
that's good. That's a great ratio, actually. And
I can't, obviously nothing's going to be at 100%, you know what I mean? So
yeah, because I've always thought of that. I remember this one time, Phil, I think he was trying to hint at me tipping him more, but I was a broke dude back then, so all I could afford was like $5, right? So
but $5 is $5.
I was a $5 tipper.
But that's better than nothing. You know what I mean? So I'll take $5 over nothing any day.
Right.
$5 is $5. You know?
Hell yeah. Well, now I know I'm not a cheap tipper, which is good.
But that's another thing too, though, is like we have to remember as barbers, not everybody is. Them coming to me, and I'm already charging probably the most premium in Tucson. Them coming to me I'm thankful for that, because they're probably literally taking the $50 that they have, and that's all they can give. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that are not in the position yet. They're in school, full-time student, half a job. So it's just like, I understand that too. You know what I mean? And then later, you know, they'll take care of me when they're booming and whatever they're doing, you know? So
hell yeah.
I understand. I was once that person too. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, that was, like I said, that was me. And Phil one time he was telling me the story about this guy who also worked at a gym. He worked at one of our competitors' gyms, and he was telling me that he would drive all the way from, I forget what side of town, and that he'd give him like $80 for a haircut. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, dude, I don't know what kind of money that gym guy makes, but this gym guy makes $9 an hour, and I'm part-time, so here's $5.
And you're like, this $5 kind of hurts, but you deserve it.
I'm like, hey, but you didn't trim that thing off the top today, so just the fade, line up, and we're good. Which is really what I get, honestly. Like I haven't cut the top of my hair because I like shaved it off 4 months ago, and I haven't cut the top in 4 months, and I still pay what I've been paying.
So you want to know something from a barber perspective? Well, at least mine. So I have clients that don't get trims, right? They'll get a trim once a month. So that means that time that I would be trimming their hair, I'm focusing in on another part of their haircut. So they can still get the same effort.
Right. And I never took that into account. Like, I wasn't going to be like, hey.
But not everybody's like that. I know some barbers that they'll be like, don't even care. They just collect their money and they go. They don't care how your haircut looks when you leave. Trust me, I've come across a lot of barbers that just don't care. But they're there for the money, you know? Yeah, they're there for their 9 to 5.
I got you.
So
you're here for something else. So tell me about this brand right here, Redemption. What is it?
So Redemption is something that it's cooking right now. But to us, redemption means a lot, because what does redemption mean in beer pong? You get that last try to redeem yourself, right?
I never won one of those, but yeah.
But I'm sure you've gotten a redemption ball before, right? Yeah. And you may not have made it, but I mean, you still had that second chance.
Never.
So to us, redeeming yourself, you know, having that redemption is very important, and everybody can relate, because every day, you know, we're trying to redeem ourselves from yesterday, or basically anything that we do that we can be better at. Even if we did good, we can be great at it tomorrow. So it's just something that is very personal to us, and we feel like anybody could relate to that.
Sure. So is it a clothing brand?
We kind of doing a little bit of everything. We have product. That's something that we want to push the most. It's a product line. But why limit ourselves when we can push out merch, some masks?
Products like barber products, or?
Yeah, barber product, hair product.
Dope. Like
gels, pomades, combs, anything. Basically anything that we use that we can turn it into redemption.
So would you say you're like an ambassador of this brand, or is this?
I own it.
This is your brand.
Me and Phil,
Sick.
and then we have
a
business partner in Phoenix. So it's 3 of us. We own Redemption.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Would it be nosy of me to ask how your business works?
What do you mean?
Where do you like? How do you manufacture the products? Who labels?
So we
like,
kind of have each of us have our own, what do you call it?
Like sector.
Job title. Yes,
Okay.
job title. So mine could be social media. I have the platform where I can use it, put it in videos, and push it out. Phil has the salesman. He can go and sell you this passion tea right here that I've already spit in, and you'd probably buy it because that's what Phil's good at.
Right.
So he's really good at selling things. So that would be his job title. And then Lalo, he's a very good businessman. He owns, I want to say, 5 different barbershops in Phoenix, and they're all doing well. He's just a businessman. So he would take care of the aspect of where we're getting it from because he has his connects and whatnot. So we all bring something to the table where I can bring it, but Phil and him can't. So that leaves me accountable of something versus the same thing for them, like we all bring something special into this business together, and I feel like that's where we'll be able to take it far versus me and Phil having only one good thing about each other, and it's the same thing, you know what I mean? So
it sounds like a partnership,
partnership,
the way it should be.
Yes.
Because
teamwork.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because that's exactly what it is. You guys should all bring something different to the table.
Exactly.
And that's dope. Do you guys make the products locally? Do you guys private label?
Well, that's what we're trying to work on right now, because with the whole COVID thing happened, we had to switch gears because everything was coming from China.
Right.
And things weren't coming from China anymore. Yeah. So we're just working. So that's another thing where I'm telling you about my time. Just managing my time so I can put more effort in making that happen.
That's sick.
Yeah. It's kind of in the works right now.
Damn. I forgot about that. That really did affect a lot of stuff.
I can't even
from China.
imagine like the big distributors, like the big people that have product line already out there. They're known, and their place was China. I can't even imagine what they had to do, because we could get it from the States, but it's just that much more, and it would not. We could do it, but
no point making pennies when you can make dollars.
Exactly.
So what do you feel like differs your products from what's on the market right now?
I feel like definitely using it to what I like. So a lot of people that work for ambassadors of other companies, they'll just use their product because they have a name and title already, right? But they might not even like it. Well, I know people that have done that. Like, they've gone to different product companies and they don't really even like the product, but that product company has a big name. Sure. So I feel like with this is something that we're going to create that I like, that I'm going to use on everyday clients, that I can explain it, why I use it. I'm going to have a relationship with the product, you know what I mean? And it's just it's going to be different because it's an everyday use, Right. It's not just like, well, this is all we got, so let me just figure out how I'm going to sell it, but I don't even like it, So I think that's what's going to be the difference is. And then social media platform. Like, I think, again, social media is free and building a platform is free. And having that platform, people will DM you left and right. Hey, do you have anything that you have with your name on it? And I'm going to buy it. And that's a big part of it too, So I feel like that's why it's going to be different from a lot of different companies.
You get a pretty big following on social media.
Yes.
How'd you build that?
A lot of consistency, posting, definitely traveling with the clipper company I work for definitely helped me build up my clients, my following a lot. And then
you mentioned you like talk on stage and stuff at some of these things, right?
Yes.
Like what's that like?
It's crazy. It's just turned 4 years now that I've been working for that company, and I've been an educator.
Who is it?
Babyless.
Babyless,
yeah. So they're actually owned by Conair, and I'm sure you've heard of Conair. Conair has freaking...
Yeah, those are the clippers I use to chop my brother up.
Yeah, they even have toasters. Like, Conair has everything.
Yeah.
But it's called Babyless, and it's basically, the way I like to say it, it's like the Jordan of barbering. Jordan is just the most respected, And kind of like Yeezys. You know how Yeezys started and everybody wanted a Yeezy? This is what the Clipper company is like. They come out with stuff that evolves. They're continuously trying to evolve, so every barber wants what they have. So that's why I love this company, because not only that, and then they care about their educators. So I started with them 4 years ago, and they weren't up there yet. But I saw what they were trying to do, and I was like, I love that, because it kind of reminded me of my, at the time, 4 years ago, how old was I? 20? And if I could relate to the company, because I was just trying to be the next big thing for myself, you know, and they were trying to do the same thing. So I felt like I had that connection with them. And sure enough, this company freaking blew the hell up, and they're the hottest thing right now in the barber industry. So it's like it's definitely a blessing to be a part of that team and to be an educator for them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Can you see yourself making your own clipper someday?
I do. I think that'd be cool. So what's crazy is this clipper company already has made 3 influence clippers with 3 of like the OG people on the team. And they have their name on the box and everything. So one day that'll be me.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like never mind, that was a very inappropriate thing I was going to say. I'm going to say it anyway.
Just do it.
It's like those fleshlights. You can get them fucking molded to whoever you want.
Yep.
Well, the popular ones.
Yep.
Like I would if I was a barber and I looked up to you, I love the way you cut hair. I love what you were doing. And you came out with a clipper and you put your stamp of approval and your signature was on it. I'd fucking buy it, right?
And that's really how it is. Like in this industry, I get people that DM me all the time. Like, do you have a shirt that says your name on it? Do you have merchandise? Do you have basically anything that is a part of me? And they'll buy it. And they want to buy it. So it's just like, this industry is just very powerful when it comes to that. Because I'm pretty sure I can think of somebody in the barber industry. I'm like, well, their name's on it. And I bought it just because their name's on it. You know what I mean? I've done it plenty of times myself. So.
Yeah. I thought that way about, Dr. Dre when he dropped his headphones.
Yep. Yeah.
And then
look how
they
fast.
broke on me.
Yeah. But everybody wanted it because
3 times.
Everybody wanted it because it had his name on it.
Yeah. And he didn't even engineer it. That's the beautiful thing about that like Beats by Dre is one of the most successful modern day marketing campaigns of all time. Prove me wrong.
Yep.
Like it's just like here, let me tell you real quick about Beats by Dre. Dre didn't engineer shit. Okay, he's a sound engineer, but he didn't fucking make those headphones. He just put his name on it, right?
Yep.
And he partnered with a company called Monster, and Monster makes extension cords. And as a matter of fact, one of these cords in here is a Monster cord that I bought at Ace Hardware. Like Monster specializes in coax cabling and HDMIs and just cables.
Yeah. So
they partnered with Dr. Dre, made this headphone, and they marketed it. Sold the story about how Dr. Dre, remember the black and white videos of him like walking all slow and going to the studio, and he's like, and then they'll zoom in on the headphones of him listening to whatever track he's making, and he's like, I need quality, and I made these headphones because in music you can't engineer if you can't hear everything, right? And it's just like the story that he's telling you, right? And he's like, in all these years of me engineering, blah 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 blah, and then the commercial ends of him getting in his car, I think, and it's like Beats by Dre, and everyone's like, oh my God, I gotta have these headphones. Yeah.
Yep.
But the truth is, whoever manages Dr. Dre's portfolio was like, hey man, we gotta do something with your money. And we think you would be great at competing against Bose, because Bose doesn't have a premium headphone competitor. So they made a product that they manufacture for $19 a pop, and they managed to sell it to us for $300. And I bought it 5 times, and they broke on me 3 times. So that happened. But anyway,
we're making him rich.
Absolutely. Well, he fucking sold it for $1 billion. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's one of the most successful, and so quickly too. Like that company, like I forget what they call them. I forget when they call them when they when like you make a company, you grow it, you sell it in less than 10 years for $1 billion. I forget what they call it, but like that's a big deal.
Yep.
That's a big fucking deal. And when you can think that big, and that's one of the things I really like about you, and I was excited to get you on the show, is it's very clear that you think about the big fucking picture, not just the big picture, or not just
the present,
owning your own.
The present, picture. It's more of the future picture.
Yeah, but like you think of a big ass picture. Like you want a fucking big ass canvas, like the size of this whiteboard right here, like probably bigger. But that's legit, you know, because you're not trying to, well, you know what's up. You're not trying to own fucking 5-6 barbershops and be bouncing around collecting rent and shit.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I mean, you wanna build something memorable. You want to build a brand.
Yes.
And that's what makes you an entrepreneur. And that's why you're sitting here in front of me.
Yep.
Drinking passion tea.
Yep. Enjoying it.
On coffee with closers. Hell yeah. So, last question. If you could give yourself advice from when you first got out of barber school, what would that be?
If I can give myself advice for when I first got out of barber school?
Yeah, because here's what's happened in the last 5 years. You've probably gotten your ass kicked a lot. Mm-hmm. And you've probably learned a lot from it. Mm-hmm. So if you look at yourself 5 years ago when you graduated barber school and you could tell yourself, hey, dude, don't fucking do this, or give yourself advice.
The biggest thing would be selfish. Because I feel like over the years, not only was all this happening for me in my career, but I was also trying to mature. I got my barber license when I was 19, you know, so I had just moved out of my mom's house because I was trying to be an adult. And I was just rushing into growing up at the same time as having all these opportunities sit in my lap. And I'm trying to take on everything, you know, plus trying to please my friends, you know, trying to be a good friend to people, trying to help everybody. I was just trying so many things at once. And if I could go back and change it, all I would do is just focus on myself. Because at the end of the day, those people that I sacrificed time for are not even in my life now, you know? And it was just more like I worried about what people thought of me a lot. Yeah. You know, I was trying to be the good friend, the good barber. I was trying to please all these clients. I was trying to keep all the clients. I was trying to be everybody's barber. You know, I was worried about everything else other than the big picture, which is be selfish and focus on what's going to benefit you later, you know? And now I can tell you, like, if I don't agree with how you're living your lifestyle and if it's bringing bad energy into my life, I don't want nothing to do with you. And and I get called names for it. I'm pretty sure they talk behind my back, but at the end of the day, like, they're not even going to be probably in the same city as me in 2 years. You know what I mean? So that's definitely the biggest thing, is just be selfish. Who cares what people say about you? You know?
I like that. So what kind of names did they call you? Just kidding.
Mama. You want to keep this PG or?
Well, this is an explicit show. You know, it's funny because this whole time I was thinking, when you look at somebody that's either made it in life or making it in life, one of the most common traits or names they call that person, like if you've met somebody that's made it, met somebody who's got money or whatever, right away, oh, that person's an asshole.
Or they're cocky.
Or that guy's cocky, that guy's a bitch.
Yep.
Like,
and I was that person. I remember being around bigger people in the industry, and I'm like, dang, they're kind of mean. Like,
right.
They're kind of cocky. And then now, like, being around those people, and I'm that much closer to being one of them, I see it. And I'm just like, I'm not, like, yeah, I might not vibe with them because they're kind of an ass and they kind of talk about themselves a lot. But at the end of the day, I'm not in those shoes, and I'm that much closer to those shoes. And I can totally see why they got to act like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people that are trying to be their friend for the wrong reasons. And it's a convenient friend. You know, it's going to be, they're being your friend, they're being around you on how is it going to benefit them, not because they generally just want to be your friend. Yeah. So I totally understand why those people are assholes, and I totally understand why they're cocky. And
I do too.
I totally understand why they keep their head up and they don't even look down. You know, like I it may not be right, but I understand. You know what I mean? Because and I'm not even where they're at, and I've dealt with so much of that in the last 5 years. You know, and I think because everything was going so fast for me at such a young age, and I had people that were older than me, and they were still kind of stuck. It was just like a lot of hate the last 5 years, especially in my own city. You know what I mean? So it's just like, at the end of the day, like, I love what I do, and I'm willing to put my hand out for anyone and help them get to where they want to go, but with respect. Like, you know, you have to give respect back to me.
Yeah, and that's just the passion that you have, that you just want to gift other people with that.
That's the main thing, is just paving the way to see how I did it, and it's that much easier for you to do it. You know what I mean? And that's really what makes me happy at the end of the day, and that's why I love to educate, because it's like, well, I did all these things to get here. Well, just do 2 of those things and it'll get you there faster, you know? And that's what I love to do. But at the end of the day, like, if you're not respecting me, For what? Why do I need to help you? You know
Right.
what I mean? You're not helping me become a better person.
Right. Closing statement. A lot of people think I'm an asshole, and I'm sure you can relate.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't call it an asshole from this perspective. Anybody who's been in our shoes or is looking to get there and they think the person they look up to is an asshole, maybe call them battle tested, because you're looking at somebody who's been through battles, wars that you've never even thought of fighting. And that when you come out of those things, just like you go to war, you come out of these things with like PTSD and shit.
But
It's the same way in business.
Different vision too.
Yeah.
You know, people might think you're an asshole, but you just have a different guard.
Yeah.
You know, and it's gonna end up benefiting you in the long run.
It really is, because you shun out the people that shouldn't be in your life anyway.
Yep.
So if people think you're an asshole. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you are a great salesperson and you feel like you've done something with your life so far and you get called an asshole a lot, that's okay. Yeah, it's just we're battle tested.
Yeah.
We've got PTSD from some battles.
Yep.
And that's what makes us who we are.
Yep.
That's not an excuse.
That's what creates your character at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And I love it, to be honest. I would rather people call me, oh, her energy's so strong, like she's intimidating, versus, oh, we can take advantage of her at any point. You know, I would rather have the other title any day.
It's so badass. So I guess the goal for anybody should be earn the right to be an asshole.
Yep.
That's the closing statement. I think I'm gonna name that this. I'm gonna name this episode "Earn the Right to Be an Asshole." Fuck yeah! Oh, it was a pleasure having you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
I'm super excited to see your growth. I can't wait. Right now you're at what, 30-some thousand on Instagram?
I just hit 30K.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a big fucking deal. Right now you're at 30K. I can't wait to get back in here when you're fucking, in no time you'll be at 100.
Yeah.
And then on, and just to see how much you've grown in just this short period of time. This is Coffee with Closers. Where can they find you on social medias?
Social media, my biggest platform is Instagram, and it'll be _ Nicole, Nicole, and then Renae, Renae.
Okay. I'll put all this stuff in the description. Guys, check this chick out. She is a fucking beast at what she does. If you haven't seen her already, follow her on Instagram. And if you guys have any questions for me, or even for her, as you can see, she's passionate about what she does, and she answers DMs because she answered mine. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Nicole, for coming. We will fucking see you next time.
Yes, thank you so much.